Doing pretty well. Thank you, Kat.
Thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me, brother. Appreciate you.
Of course. And so, we are celebrating the opening of the new show, Fabric of America, Artisan Protest. And you have a great piece. It's up right now at the museum. Here's an installation view for those of you who are not able to make it out or who are visiting us online from somewhere. And we really appreciate you uh, making this piece. And here it is. And so what I love about this piece, it is so classic. And by that, it means that there is a character, it's the fashion, the cans, the wall. It's almost it's a modern day throwback almost, if you know what I mean.
Definitely, most definitely. Yeah, well, I'm like I just came. I'm actually outside of the museum right now, and today was the first time I actually came to the museum. I hadn't seen it because me and my wife were planning on coming before COVID, and then we couldn't come. But I was just sitting there right now. My mind is just blown away by just seeing. I'm a student. You know what I mean, of graffiti. I grew up, admiring graffiti since 1986 when I saw Subway Art, and Don D and Scene, and just you obviously, and everybody in there is just, I mean, man, and just I'm a I'm a strong supporter of the old school New York classic b-boy characters, outlines, fill-ins, just everything old school, you know what I mean, like, throwback. I'm a fan of, and I appreciate, everything that you guys and the forefathers have done for graffiti, because that's the reason why I'm a writer today, so yeah, thank you.
No, I love that, and I love that you're able to come down and you see, being here at the museum, and I see the American History wall on your side there out
Yes.
your window.
Oh my God. Let me give you a quick little peep to the people. Man, this thing is just surreal. It's so beautiful, man. Like, people need to come out here and see the detail. I was just talking about it with Sice. Like, every single letter has every single person that you could think of, from Harriet Moore to Emmett Till, Marcus Garvey. I mean, you name it, bro. Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X. It's just beautiful, bro. The work is just second to none, man. And he told me the work that you guys put in there is just top notch, man. I like, nothing but love and respect for everyone that got down on this piece. It's a very beautiful art, and I hope everyone comes to Wynwood and sees it, firsthand.
And so for those who are not there, this is what you're speaking about.
Yes, that is correct. It's just beautiful. Literally right next to me right now, and it is just an amazing piece, man. So much detail in the work, in the lettering, the characters. I mean, you got to come and see it. You have to. If you come to Miami and you come to the museum, I highly recommend you come and take a look at this beautiful piece of artwork.
And so, and your contribution is important because we wanted to have local artists contribute to this exhibition and to find their voice, to contribute their artwork, their style, their thinking, and what they want their message to be if they're going to share it with an audience. And your message, your style is one thing, but you chose a message that says no justice, no peace. It says Black Lives Matter on the wall. You have rest in peace, Rifa. What made you go in this particular direction of all directions?
So basically, when I would design the jacket, I wanted to do something kind of like that would symbolize, say, an African American graffiti writer in this day and age doing a piece for what we're going through, which is obviously the BLM movement. Obviously, so many people have been, killed, due to injustices from police brutality and things of that nature, that is unacceptable, because no matter the color of your skin or your background or your family or your religion or creed or whatever you believe, nobody should be treated any different. We all bleed the same color. We're all human. We're all the human race. We're all one, and with the universe. And that's why when I designed the character, I wanted them to be like, okay, so there's a lot of subliminal things, like you said, the rest in peace Rifa, because he's an old school Miami graffiti writer. I mean, obviously he's not old school, but he's back then, he got killed by the police, for catching tags, for painting. That's something you should have just got a slap on the wrist and got, a regular, uh, citation and gotten sent home. And then he ended up dying, which was unfortunate because there's no one should die for graffiti, bro, not for catching a tag or doing a piece. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, if you look into detail onto the actual character, because I'm a big Polo fan, so that's why I'm wearing my Love Loyalty t-shirt that I did today. But he's wearing the jacket, the stadium jacket that usually has the 1992 on it, but it actually has the 1865, which is the year that we the Emancipation or Proclamation, we freed the slaves, we end slavery. I also did the chain on him, wearing the King Tut piece because to symbolize the kings and queens that come from back then, what I'm saying, that a lot of people choose to like neglect or not realize that, so I wanted to add a lot of different, things into my piece, very subliminal, but to let people know, what I'm saying, hey, listen, don't try to change history or rewrite it because it's there and people know, what I'm saying. The belt buckle has kings, which, speaks for itself. Every man is king, what I'm saying. On top of the black, you see the crown. It has a number 7. Number 7 is the perfect number of God. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, there's a lot of things that I wanted to put in there. Obviously, you got the chopper. It's looking for him, chasing him down. And if you're real old school, because I know you are, you look at on top of his hair, he's got the pick with the black fist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I went to South Miami Middle, and predominantly my school was 50%, 40% African American, another 40% Hispanic, and very limited white folk. My peoples. And then, everybody, most of my dudes, they usually, they had that very popular in the 80s was the pick with the fist. So I wanted to put that in there too, because, I just wanted to bring back a little throwback of things, that from back then, what I'm saying, that I think a lot of people would find, cool, wow, look at that, I remember that,
Right. That also your selection of spray paint, the old spray paint that you don't even really see anymore, those Krylon cans, some of those colors. They don't exist.
Yes, they don't. I still have my old Krylon collection, which one day I'll bring some so you can check them out or maybe catch a few tags on for me. But yeah, I have some pastels, beautiful colors, man, and I have some old rustos too. People don't realize back then, you do because you're an old school graffiti writer. But when I started writing back in 1986, 87, we had a limited amount of color selection. Krylon only made but maybe 20 colors, 15 colors. Now you got Montana and all these other companies, Belton and whatnot. And then, they make all these amazing colors, shout out to 004 Connect, my peoples, I got to plug them, there's just so many, colors nowadays, but back then we didn't have but very limited colors. So when Krylon brought out, the pastel yellow, the baby blue, the hot pink, the jade green, the pastel turquoise, aqua turquoise, those colors was like, whoa, we were in Miami. We didn't know what this was. And then all of a sudden it shows up and we're like, oh my God, we got other colors now we could use, So it's crazy, man. Yeah, definitely old school Krylon and Rust-Oleum all day, American Accents too, for those that know. They brought us some really nice colors as well. But yeah.
And so, that's a little bit of what, you had to deal with when you were writing in that era.
Realize this, but when I was in the museum, I just saw, the Miami section, and I'm looking at this, 1985, 86, looking at, BB Love and VO5 and these dudes that are legends to me, because when I was a little boy, I was 12 years old, and I was driving around with my dad. He was a truck driver, and I used to have my dad pull over, please, and I have my own little wind up Kodak camera, the zip one, and I would just, boom, take a picture of it. Bro, I have some amazing pictures that are 25, 30 years old that I keep, to this day, and it's amazing because, it's timeless classics that people didn't realize that there was graffiti going on here. It was an underground movement that nobody really knew about. People were like, wait, what do you mean graffiti? Miami's where old people go to retire and go chill on the beach. And they didn't realize that, we were out here painting, pennants and all these abandoned buildings, Hialeah, 7th Street, you know what I'm saying? Fountain Blue Pennant and all these other locations, that were really, really popular, that writers it's very underground. Only if you knew about it, you'd go there and you'd paint and get your name up, and that's how you got your respect,
Yes. It is and has been an underground movement. I think Miami is one of those cities where was exceptionally hidden, you know, and you had, if you
Yes.
knew, you knew, early on. And so in that section of the museum that you're speaking about, we are lucky to have some great contributors that were able to share those old pictures that you're mentioning, those 110 photos, those, like those home photos that were not professionally taken, that were taken
Right.
by children, by teenagers that were documenting their own art. And so we're lucky that folks like yourself and others were documenting those walls and those abandoned buildings back then. Otherwise, we wouldn't have it. And in those cases that you saw at the museum, there's original sketches, drawings from the 80s, which, when you go back into time, all those things are pretty, not only are they delicate, but they're pretty rare because, quite frankly, teenagers weren't preserving their stuff. It wasn't so important to put away those papers. So all that stuff for us is very precious historical artifacts that help us tell the story of this art movement. Whether it's in New York, like what you saw, or whether it's in Miami, and you see there's all these, we have to tell our stories through photos, through sketches, through black books, because none of those walls that were painted, none of those trains that were painted, none of it exists today. And so we have this documentation to share. And that's kind of how we tell our story. And these conversations and these recordings that we do and the memories that we have. And so us sharing these art talks allow us to sort of share this history that hasn't really been documented very well, unfortunately.
I agree 110%, which is very, I'm telling everybody, if you're in Miami, you need to come and check out this museum, because not if you're just a graffiti writer like me, that I'm a student of the culture of, the writing, but just in general, so that you can see all the timeless classics and pieces. Like, it's like if you're taking a time capsule back 30 years or longer, you know what I'm saying? And seeing all these amazing pieces, black books, stuff from writers that they did, like it takes you like into another time zone or another time frame. It's surreal. And it was incredible. I mean, I haven't had a chance to enjoy the whole, gallery, because obviously we had to come and do the interview with you, but I was allowed to go back in so I can finish, soaking it all up and enjoying it, because I told my wife, I mean, I need to, finish seeing the museum for what it is. And it's just so much amazing stuff in there that I really highly recommend that people come out and support this movement and this underground culture we have, because you're right. Without the photos, without the black books, without the pictures and the people videos talking about what we've done, then it's all for naught. This is for nothing, and we can't. You know what I mean? This is long overdue. You know what I mean? Like, people would look before. It's funny because they would look at me like, you're a graffiti vandal. You're a punk that writes on walls. And now I'm getting paid. I'm getting gigs to do $5,000, $10,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're hiring me to come and paint, large scale murals. And it's incredible how times have changed, and people are accepting graffiti a lot more than they were before. But don't get it twisted. Graffiti is always underground. It should stay that way. I want it to continue to stay that way. I understand that, more people are, accepting of the art form, but they need to realize that this graffiti is ours. It came from the street. It came from, the underground culture, like people, I grew up super poor. People don't know this, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't have AC, 15 years, certain things that, you go through. And like, this was our escape, my way out, for me to enjoy myself and go and paint and do a wall and come back home and be looking at my pictures like, whoa, I should have changed this outline or done this letter, different, or this color or whatever, or use, pink instead of blue, things like that. Just, you learn, you pick up things throughout the years. And then, of course, all these writers that I grew up admiring, you know what I mean, looking up to, the VO5s, the AIM crews, the ATAs, you know what I'm saying, Mob Crew, Can Crew, like, there's so many, good legends that people, don't even know about. And right now, I'm glad that the museum is here, because they can learn about them. You can show all their black books and their drawings and be like, whoa, I can't believe that Miami graffiti was going on in the mid 80s to early 80s. And I'm like, it was. So that's the beautiful part, man, about this museum, that people can actually see all this stuff, you know, and soak it all in, man. So I'm definitely telling people you got to come out here and enjoy it, you know.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's the work that we have to do, and that's what we want to do. We want to be able to have a space where we can teach the history about the people and have a space where we can share and document this 50 years of this art movement that's still vibrant. It's still growing. It's worldwide, and it's the biggest art movement of our lifetime. And so, KED,
Absolutely.
I'm going to bid you farewell so you could go in and see the
Thank
museum
you.
and continue to see the exhibitions. I thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your time, for your contribution to this exhibition, and for your contribution to this art form, man. We really appreciate you and what you've done, and thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate you so much, Kat. Thank you for your contributions. You're, you know, a legend. I was telling my wife, I'm like, man, you don't know. We're in the presence of greatness here. You know what I'm saying? She's like, oh, that's amazing. Allison, thank, you know, her as well. What you guys are doing is just by far incredible work, and we really appreciate it for the movement. And thank you for having me and being a part of this show. It means a lot to me because, you know, we need to let people know about what's going on out there, and we need to try to, you know, put a, you know, end to this racism and all this nonsense that's going on. You know, we need to unite, you know, and get everybody together and show that we are all one, you know, and change, you know, positive energy, you know what I mean, defeats anything, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, but thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys. Many blessings to you and the museum, and much success is definitely coming because you can see it, you know. And I'm going to go back in now and enjoy the rest of the museum.
All right. Thank
but
you, my
thank
brother.
you, Kat.
Peace.
Appreciate you. Take care, my friend. All right. Bye-bye.